Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to a very, very special Diddler Cup Racing Series. We are live. Time zones be damned. We are here at the City of Europe. We are live. We are live, despite the fact that we are in what I believe is another planet. I think we have time traveled because I look at my watch and I know that it's the evening, but they're telling me that we're doing an afternoon thing. And we are, we're even down a man. My name is Chip Chapman. I'll be here in the booth calling the play-by-play of a fantastic race, the Africa by Toto 99, because there's nothing that 100 laps or more could ever do. We're going super speedway racing here, folks. We are going fast as Europe will let us go. And that is why we're here.
Hey, boy, she's waiting there for you.
And we got Beaumont Jenkins. Somehow we smuggled him through customs.
Hey, I didn't think I could still fit through a suitcase, but hey, I still know a thing or two. I'll tell you what.
You know what? They say it's not good to be going through those X-ray machines in a suitcase like a human. But you know what? I say science don't know dick about that.
I stuck in a couple potatoes too, and I got them things cooked, so I got me a nice afternoon meal here.
Someone now you're thinking with portals, because I think we just went through a portal to get here to the City of Europe, and unfortunately our good color commentator Lightning Lord Shivers arrested at Hartsfield Jackson Airport for brandishing an unlicensed firearm. He's gonna have to miss the race, but we're gonna hope that he is back and cleared. Middle of the week, we got some of our top men working on it, and if you ask me who we got working on it, top men, yes, but nonetheless. Here we go. We got a huge race here. We're going to be, it's going to be a big one. And we are going super speedway racing. We are going fast. That's why we can get 61 laps of racing fit in here. And it is because of, and we're going to see, it's because of those relaxed rules of Europe. I like that, particularly. But nonetheless, we've got some great racing here, Beaumont. We got Reverend Pastor Chavez in the number 33 car. It's only appropriate that someone who's got a lot of experience over in the City of Europe, racing in that open wheel style that Latin Lloyd always tells us about, he's on the pole. He had the best qualifying time out of everybody in this race.
He might be, for all we know, he might be doing the prayer, but he's got himself a $15 gift card to Parts Unknown's Unknown Auto Parts.
He most certainly does. And
he's probably going to use that to soup up his 1983 Chevrolet Balorkin. It was made only in Bratislavia.
Well, the Bratislava Balorkin, I think that's one of their famous sports teams as well. The Bratislava Balorkins. It's a nice sponsorship, but nonetheless, he's going to be on the pole. It's been a rough season for him so far. We're going to have to go through the start.
Also, our chat room's asking about the injury to Jim Blossoms.
Yeah, we had today? Jim Blossoms. Jim Blossoms took one heck of a lick. Broken collarbone, I think a slashed femur, a deviated septum, a ruptured rectum, a whole lot of
bleeding. Can't forget the anal bleeding.
Of course, well, the ruptured rectum kind of goes without saying on that one, but nonetheless, we have reconstituted him. Go ahead.
With this European way of reconstructing him, they reconstructed him using a speak and spell, an Ethernet cable, and a copy of Warcraft 2, which is impressive as hell as to how they get him up and running. It's proof that you do not need a brain to drive a car here in the Diddler Cup.
Nonetheless, we absolutely have. I think he's going to be in good shape. He said he's ready. They cleared him. We had the finest doctors in the City of Europe. They told me that he was strong and stable to race, and I think he is ready to go. We got him strapped. Any sort of part of his that may not be functioning, we got duct tape to the wheel, or duct tape to the gas pedal, or duct tape to any of the switches that he might need to use. But that's the problem of the 11 team, the I Ate the Bones KFC 11 car. That's their strategy to decide on. I think it's time right now to go right to the starting grid and to tell us a little bit about who we got, who's starting off where on this super speedway. It's gonna look pretty good if you are in a Dodge Stratus, because on that starting grid, there you see it, our pole sitter, Reverend Pastor Chavez, in that number 33 car. Number 2, Paul Walker on the outside pole. He's doing pretty good. In 8th place, Jeff Shanice and Jeff Gordon the horse are in row 2. That's a pair of Chevy Prisms in there. There is Jim Blossoms, eating the bones, breaking the bones, be damned. He qualified 5th, along with B.D. Joseph on row 3. Jimmy Poots and Ennio Sperini on row 4. Paul Alcohol and Blind Bob McGee on row 5. Paul Alcohol looking to get some stability in this race. There we see Morris Mayfield, that 00 car, that Ford Pinto, along with Kevin Boner-Pillman on row 6. Elmer Twist sitting on row 7, along with Otto Bond in that 69 car.
Nice.
And he's in 9th place in the points. Fat Darrell and Richard Blood are points leader right now on row 8. Giacomo in that number 4 Kiss War Machine car, along with Jean-Paul Henry. He's right behind a points leader. Jean-Paul Henry's in 2nd place, and he's going to be starting right behind the points leader. Should be interesting to watch. Cotton Stuff Body and Harry Gunn on row 10. Woo Bye Bally in 4th place in the points. He's on row 11 with Burt McKitchen. Appropriately enough, at the back of the field, Big Daddy Thibodeau, he's in 5th in the points. He's sitting there with El Matador Toto Rosanna on row 12 in that Air Supply Dodge Stratus. Joe John Winchester in the 4-7 Just Guns car. He's on row 13 with Stumpy Lane in the Gumboos car. Joey Rochester and Jasper Cudisark, two of the names we were saying a lot in the last couple of races. They're in the back of the field in row 14. Bowie Jessup in that HCL 22 car, and Rusty Arcana in that number 12 LOA car on row 15. And in the back of the field, it's Mr. Naga's Most Glorious Driver, that number 10 Kumite car, and Ricky Walton in the Temecula Dirt car in the back of the field. Oh, goodness. I just dicked something up for a second. Give me a second here.
Drivers,
the wrong button.
to your car.
There we go. Let's just go ahead and pause that. Whoops. Make sure everything's still. Yep, we're good.
I think Chip fell into one of them damn portals again.
That's one of them. Now we're working with portals. Now we are.
Hey, don't eat the cake.
Working with portals. All right. So I think at this point it is now time to to let us pray, and I think we've got. I'm gonna go ahead and pass the mic over here. We've got the actual Pope, or at least he said he's the Pope. So
or
let's
it's just
go
a
ahead.
guy with a fancy hat. Either way.
He's a man in a fancy hat. I'm gonna go ahead and hand the mic over to him. He's got this prayer. So let's go down to our race prayer. Heavenly Father. Heavenly Father, we thank you here in Europe tonight to
Woo, Europe!
Oh God, I am so high. We thank you for everything you gave us, including all the bad stuff, man, because you gave us some bad stuff and a lot of wars and a lot of kids dying and a lot of things that are. But you also gave us cool stuff like pizza and oh God and
funny hats!
and Funyuns. Thank you in the crowd there, and we're happy for. God, I need to just let me just lay down here for a second. Let me lay down. Oh, I just need a second.
Jesus!
Yeah, him too, and yeah, I'm just gonna go for a nap here. So, amen, yeah.
Oh man! Woo!
All right, I think we got to clear a body off the track. That man needs to get some help. Jesus help his soul.
He had a rough Canada Day yesterday, I tell you what.
He certainly did.
I mean, me personally, I'm celebrating Great Lakes Days because that's like the 2 days in between Canada Day and Independence Day. So you like put it in the middle.
So it's kind of like you're just kind of traveling down from Canada down to America, and you pass the.
It's
Great
like
Lakes.
I said, I scheduled a 4-day weekend off, and then them sons of bitches want me to come in on Monday. Nah, fuck you.
Well, that I think is the spirit of American independence.
That is American.
So I think in the spirit of America here in the city of Europe for a thing called the Africa by Toto 99, I think we need
multinational,
the very close, but not quite, to the most famous words in racing, in motorsports. You want to give something that don't get us sued?
Gentlemen, there is wheel in front of you. Use it.
And there we see, there they go. We'll be keeping an eye on this. Pace car is off.
Of course, it's got a new shade of red on there.
Strap something on. Hold on tight.
There's no speed limits.
Get ready for a ride.
Hold everything down with duct tape, especially for Jim Blossom's. God
Because
rest his
let's
soul.
go diddling. It's a goddamn auto race.
Let's go diddling.
Reverend Pastor Chavez is going to take his 33 Christ Punch car. That Christ Punch Dodge Stratus. He's going
Not to be
that.
confused with the drink they offer at church too, the other Christ Punch.
No doubt, that is the sacramental wine. It is sacrilegious. And you can see how fast they are going. We'll get an actual lap speed once they cross the start-finish line.
Like I said, no speed limits here in Europe. You either run fast or you get the hell out of here. You take the
Look
tram.
how fast they are going. They are moving down this motor speed. Oh God, we got a wreck. We got a wreck in the back there. Oh good God, we got the Ennio Sparini. I mean, they're gonna keep going, I think. But Ennio Sparini and oh my God. Oh my God, well they're going almost 200 miles an hour.
Oh my goodness! I think what he said I think today we can officially say there were problems with the car.
There were absolutely problems with the car. No yellow flags. This is Europe. I'm going to have to get him off the track and make sure that everything is okay. Reverend Pastor Chavez.
This is insanity right here. I thought the last race was insanity, but at least that was fun.
He is going to continue. He is going to continue to lead this race. Jeff Chanice is looking for that high line. They got a lot of track to move on. Jimmy Poots over a second behind. You can see there's a little bit of a turn. It's a little road coursey. See who
my
all got
problem
in
is
that
the view
accident.
on this place sucks.
Joe John Winchester, Ennio Sparini. Looks like Ricky Walton is down a lap as well. But Reverend Pastor Chavez, as they come around, look at that big old turn.
That's more bank you can bank on right there. I think the way this is looking out here, I don't know, we might be seeing ourselves, I think Rusty Arcana got involved in that too.
He just might have. He's out of that.
I see him out
Joseph is out of it too. Take a look at Blind Bob McGee. He's kind of in the middle of that pack right now of cars coming around there. Look at them getting
Spit
really
roasted
loose.
right between Kiss and Tucson-ade.
And he's giving up a little bit of ground. He's kind of following. He's trying to get in line with that. Oh, the Slapmark car and Wubai Bala getting some drafting partners.
There you go,
Bob
Wubai.
McGee is falling behind. Oh, he just tried to slide it over. But he just got absolutely it is. Keep an eye on this pack right now as Reverend Chavez and Jeff Chanice continue to lead this race. Pastor Chavez.
I think we also saw Cuddy, Sark, Bond, and Lane got into that too. They were both a lap down. Oh man, excitement right out of the gate. That's what I love about damn racing. Woo!
Something happened that put Jasper Cuddy Sark on the pit road. He is coming back out. Looks to be okay.
They had to cough for a little bit or maybe talk to the Pope for a little bit for some guidance. Now white smoke means there's just not more than the new Pope out there.
That is true. Already some lap traffic that Jeff Chanice and Reverend Pastor Chavez have to contend with.
That's Ricky Walton in the Temecula dirt car.
That it is, and they make the pass. and they extend their lead now about 2.
Right now, Jeff Shanice is in a good spot. You got a minute. Jeff Shanice is in a pretty good spot here. He's trying to make up for that disaster he had in the first race. Won the pole, ended up losing, getting into a wreck right on the later part of the race there. So he's trying to redeem himself here. What better way to do it
we got 4 cars
than in the cold, rainy
race.
confines of the city of Europe?
You see, there are 4 cars out of this race, and they are back in the garage. Eneos Green, Joe John Winchester, Rusty Arcane, and B.D. Joseph. Let's see what happens with them.
B.D. Joseph is outside of his jurisdiction, so I can understand him losing.
Maybe that's the case, I think. Jimmy Poots getting past that Temecula dirt car. And let's see, he's all alone.
For all we know, this may end up being like a 50-lap shootout.
We may have that. It might be just the 33 and the 38 car, but here's the thing. They're going to have to pit sooner or later. They're going to have to pit sooner or later.
Here's my question. Now, if America runs on Duncan, then what does Europe run on?
That is a good question. Maybe Costa?
That's a deep philosophical question. I tell you what it runs on. It runs on Vapus, the official fuel of the Diddler Cup Series. Vapus.
Yes, if you're driving across the city of Europe, you want to fill your tank full of Vapus. It is the high octane that you crave, and Vapus is the official fuel and the official fuel sponsor of the Diddler Cup Racing Series. As we are watching Jeff Shanice ever so close to that Christ Punch car, who is running pretty darn good.
I think also with Cuddy Sark, I think they're trying a new strategy where they're going to put wheels on top of the car, so that way if the car rolls over, it can still be driven upside down.
Well, Jasper Cuddy-Sark, he's back on that track, but he's a lap down.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton.
It is a very interesting strategy. Let's take a look at that middle of the pack. Let's take a look at Paul Alcohol, who's riding there with Blind Bob McGee, Boo and Jessup, Big Daddy Thibodeau, Jeff Gordon the horse, all in that pack. And that is Ricky Walton down a lap in that Temecula dirt car. Gotta see what these cars can do. And look at that lap time, or look at that speed that Reverend Pastor Chavez is at, 214 miles an hour.
He's trying to make a sonic boom there. He's trying to hold back and then push forward and give it a sonic boom.
He most certainly is. 10 laps into this race.
Look at the guile on that guy.
And Jeff Shanice is going with him. To his credit, he is absolutely going with him.
He's gonna just cling on there and just ride his behind like me a couple weeks ago at the strip club.
Now let's take a look at Jimmy Poots, who's in 3rd place. Got a bit of a gap between 2nd and 4th, so Jimmy Poots is sitting all by himself. And he's got nowhere to draft with. He's got to hope maybe one of these guys falls off the lead, or falls off the lead pace, or maybe gets some help from Paul Walker, who is sitting in 4th. But that is a good 2.5 seconds behind.
Hey, I was watching TV last night. These Europeans better like Jimmy Poots, because they got this new dungeon fetish out where they bury someone except up to their private parts, and then they have sex with them.
That's fascinating.
It's incredible. I've learned so much about the city of Europe just in these 12 hours I've been here.
I mean, I feel like we are scholars at this point. We're watching them race on roads. We are like roads scholars, only spelled like actual roads that you drive on, because we're still blue collar boys.
And are there a bunch of speed bumps? Absolutely.
There always are, and Jeff Shanice staying with Reverend Pastor Chavez, opening up a 4-second lead on Jimmy Poots, who sits in 13th in the points. Jeff Shanice in 15th, so you know he's going to be moving up, and he is hugging that bumper. He's doing some bumper hugging.
Chavez already got them points right now. Chavez has led every single lap so far of this race, so I'm sure he's just racking them up there, just preventing everyone from getting them 5 bonus points.
Now those 5 bonus points are going to be only his. So, and Reverend Pastor Chavez is sitting pretty low in the point standings.
Bastard.
This would be an absolute fantastic. Big Daddy Thibodeau got involved in a wreck. We're going to take a look and see what happened there in a little bit. Looks like he fell off the pace.
Here, let me write this in on my toilet.
He is in the pits. It looks like. Looks like he might be out the garage. Big Daddy Thibodeau might be the end of his race.
Should have brought more Tuesday with him.
I think
Been a little
so.
hometown boy. That's out the locals. Traded for a donkey.
Not a bad idea. I'm not gonna lie. I understand that if you're in Europe, they still use the barter system here in Europe.
Absolutely. It's not the first time he's had to trade Tuesday for ass.
And here is a very interesting development. Got a couple of lap down cars. Jasper Kudisark, Otto Bahn in that 69 car.
Nice.
And I think Stumpy Lane's going to be not too far ahead of him. Give me some drafting partners for Jeff Shanice. This might be the chance to take the lead in this race.
You got Fat Daryl and Jasper Kudisark. We've been saying Kudisark a lot, even though he's been doing fucking horrible in this race.
We have not seen Jasper Kudisark, but he may now be a big player in this development as a 5-second
Could be
lead
developing.
has opened
It's like
up
he's
on
developing. It's like a smoke screen, but it's chewable.
That's the throat candy tobacco lozenges Chevy Prism. So absolutely that is the case, and you can see Jeff Shanice is he going to try to
Goes
throw the
down
heel?
smoother than nicotine gum.
Oh, he's staying behind Reverend Pastor Chavez. They get around Fat Daryl in that number 66, Are You Hungry? Grease Trucks car. But look at him, he's taking that outside line. He's trying to take the pass. He's looking for it. Could Jeff Shanice be the race leader? No, after 16 laps, he is still sitting in second. But you know what? He is biding his time. There is definitely going to be at least one pit stop in this race. And it might be the race off
There's
pit
also
row.
going
He's
to be
looking
more
for it
lap
right now.
traffic to deal with, too.
You can see he's taking a look. He's getting a feel for the track. He's trying to see where the best opportunity to find Reverend Pastor Chavez sleeping in that 33 car and go ahead and make the pass and lead this race, because you can see how good Clean Air is treating these drivers. They busted open a 5-second lead on third place.
He saw the hotel prices here. He's been sleeping in his number 33 car since Wednesday.
That's true. Actually, you can see right there how much trouble these lap cars are giving them, because look at that. Jimmy Poots just gained almost a full second on the leader in second place. So we might see a bit of an interesting development here as we are approaching. We're just about a quarter through the race. That gap is dropping as people are noticing. We're hearing it on race radio. I think it's because of all those lap traffic cars. They got to contend with Fat Daryl, Jasper Kudisark, Otto Bahn, not making life easy for Reverend Pastor Chavez and Jeff Shanice. Almost got together. Fat Daryl. And you can see Jimmy
It's like he's
Poots.
using the Inquisition.
You can see Jimmy Poots just cleaned another second off that lead. He is down to under 3 seconds down from Jeff Shanice. This is the story of this race, is that lap traffic is going to be a real hassle for some of these leaders. And how important it is to get
Anytime
the
you're
clean
dealing
air.
with,
Go ahead.
and they're all driving in the right lane, so it's like they're going to have to deal with regular traffic trying to pass through.
That's true. They drive on the left
you
side.
gotta
here,
go left
don't
lane
they?
here, kids. It's a little different.
And look, they finally get around Fat Daryl. Jeff Shanice and Reverend Pastor Chavez decided, you know what, I think we needed to work together on this one. And the gap is now down to under 2 seconds for Jimmy Poots. But is that enough? Otto Bahn is now the only car ahead of Reverend Pastor Chavez of the lap down cars, aside from Stumpy Lane, excuse me. But they have not encountered Stumpy Lane just yet.
He is not going to make life easy, even though his car does say 69. Nice. He's
No
just
doubt.
not going to make life easy for
And
anybody.
a nice pass, Reverend Pastor Chavez. No, but he's unable to, and Jeff Shanice is going to take the lead, going with the 69 car,
Nice.
and he is going to take the lead And let's see what the gaps look like, because there are a lot of cars behind Giacomo. Paul Walker is now under, well, it looks like Reverend Pastor Chavez continued to hold the lead, but look at that, Paul Walker under a second off the lead now after all that trouble. Let's take a look at that Paul Walker.
All that lap traffic there backs
car.
things up, giving everyone else a chance to catch up here.
They are getting
We might be seeing a new race here in about 10 laps.
They are getting drafting partners off of those lap down cars who can push them up, drag them forward, and up to the lead lap. Jimmy Poots now down to 1.1 seconds off the lead. He's down to 4th place though, but it looks like we're gonna see how pit road is gonna be now. These cars are all gonna pit. Who is pitting? It looks like Jeff Shanice. Is Jimmy Poots? Did Jimmy Poots stay out?
Shanice, I think it's all the lead cars here.
All the lead cars. Jimmy Poots is opting to stay out for 5 big points. Jimmy Poots is in the lead, but he has not pitted. We are looking to see who is pitted at this point. It is Paul Alcohol. It is Giacomo, Jeff Gordon the horse. Woo Ba Bala's in the pits. Joey Rochester, Bowie Jessup. A lot of cars on pit road right now. Let's keep an eye on the pits. I know we're going to keep an eye on the racing.
Just lift up the side and let that Tupperware fart out.
Oh, did Jeff Shanice perhaps get a jump on Reverend Pastor Chavez off pit road? It looks like Jeff Shanice beat him off pit road, but we're going to have to see. Again, we're going to have to cycle through.
Just barely got ahead of him.
We're going to cycle through and see how this all develops when they cross the start-finish line. Jimmy Poots, Kevin Boner-Pillman also in 2nd place right now. But it looks like, yep, Jimmy Poots is in the pits. Is Kevin Boner-Pillman also in the pits? Elmer Twist, Cotton Stuff by the Harry Gunt. We're starting to see him cycle through. I think Jimmy Poots just wanted to lead a lap.
And we just get them 5 points, because the points are important, especially late in the season.
And it is.
Early on, really any time it's really important.
This is race number 5. We're in race number 5 right now. Jimmy Poots still your leader. But Jeff Shanice is going to make up some ground. We'll see what happens when Jimmy Poots gets off of pit road. He is back on there, and it looks like he just might be able to hold off Jeff Shanice. Shanice is going to be behind Jimmy Poots. Can he make the pass? We're watching this very closely. This is a battle for first place. Jeff Shanice is going to get in front of Jimmy Poots. And he's going to take, and Giacomo's looking. It is Jeff Shanice leading this race for the very first time.
And give that man his points.
Absolutely. He has earned those by staying with Reverend Pastor Chavez. Giacomo and Jimmy Poots have caught up. Those are the lead pack of 4. It's like Ricky Walton has retired his car. He is also out of this race. He was having trouble from the very start. Oh, looks like Bowie Jessup got in the dirt there. I don't know what happened there. It's like he might just be going to the pits. I don't know what happened with Bowie Jessup. We'll take a look at that later. A lot of cars are wrecking. So I'm kicking up some dirt.
Oh, his car's not looking good at all.
Not.
I mean, he's rubbing up against the guardrail and everything. It's not looking pretty for him.
I think he is heading to the pits right now to go take a look at it. He might be done. That youngster's race might be over.
Man, won earlier in the season, but he's been just highly inconsistent.
And it was like Giacomo is in the pits right now. I don't think he may not have pitted initially. Let's take a look at how he started. Yeah, he was pretty far back, so he may not have just pitted. Jeff Shanice continues to lead this race. He is one of 3 leaders, and that pack of 3 are currently sitting in the lead of this race. Jeff Shanice, Reverend Pastor Chavez, and Jimmy Poots. Jim Blossoms just got himself into 3rd place. Coming off of pit road, he just passed Reverend Pastor Chavez. He's looking for a lead of this race. Now 4 cars under a second.
What a recovery if Jim Blossoms were to come back from such a horrific accident on Wednesday night. comes back and wins the race, even though the fact that he does not have a properly functioning body organ on him right this second.
No, he is he is working on steam
That is the kind
power.
of story you put the orchestra music to.
His kidneys are working on steam power right now. Looks like Blind Bob McGee is out of this race. We're going to have to take a look and see what happened there. A lot of cars wrecking. We're going to take a look at that in our highlights.
It's an unforgiving European track. You gotta admit, there's still cobblestones in this goddamn place. That's what I hate. Well, let's just keep the cobblestone in here just for historical purposes. Never mind the fact it's gonna fuck up your car and everyone else is in the process.
And look who is causing more havoc. It is Otto Bond, now 2 laps down because Jeff Shanish has made the pass. But Jim Blossoms, Reverend Pastor Chavez, and everybody else is behind him. And Jeff Shanice is able to extend the lead right now. We're going to keep an eye on this pack right now because looks like we got a whole lot of cars following Jim Blossoms, Reverend Pastor Chavez, Jimmy Poots, Paul Walker, Wu Ba Bale, and Morris Mayfield. Let's take a look at that 00 Niles Darby's car. He's hanging out there with...
And with Jim Blossoms, anywhere he goes, they'll follow him down.
They certainly will. And I understand we had him on race radio when he was going to pit. He said, I ain't going to pit until I hear it from you. And saying that to, of course, Allison Road, his pit, his crew chief, Allison Road.
Now, he was using the speaking spell to tell that one, so, I mean, as long as you got the fresh D batteries in there.
He does, and Morris Mayfield.
D batteries.
We are watching Morris Mayfield in 7th in a big old line of cars. That is Jim Blossom, Reverend Pastor Chavez, Paul Walker, and Morris Mayfield. That is 2 through 5. And Jeff Shanice has opened up a lead on this race by passing Jasper Cuttisark. Well, he's trying to pass Jasper Cuttisark. So you can see right in the rearview mirror, he's going to be seeing Jim Blossoms 1.7 seconds out of this lead.
Either way, he's still moving across there, and he's still, as long as now that he's out of the slow track there from Autobahn and everything, I mean, he's opening up a big old lead here. As long as he can just keep this going, it might have it. This might be a win for him.
This is good. He has opened up a 2-second lead on Jim Blossoms in 2nd. But again, what a story would be if Jim Blossoms finished 2nd place after such a debilitating injury. You know, not winning a race, that's one thing. But coming back and finishing 2nd would be absolutely amazing. And here we see again, Fat Darrell, Jasper Cuttisark, now a lap down, going to be 2 laps down. This was the problem that Reverend Pastor Chavez hit before.
You have to admit, Jim Blossoms would be the personification of last to first. And speaking of which, how about this? Wu Ba Ba is in 7th place.
He is in that pack of 2nd to 7th. That pack of 5 right behind Jeff Shanice. Let's see what happens here. Yep, they were seeing. We're seeing the same story that happened earlier with Pastor Chavez. Jeff Shanice has a big lead, and the 2nd place car, that number 11 KFC i8, the Bones, that Ford Pinto is gaining on him through some clean air. Jeff Shanice is choosing to hang with those lap down cars, taking a draft off them.
Ride it out here. I think it's just going to mail it in.
So now here's what's going to happen. This might be an effort to save fuel. You saw all these cars were pitting around the 20 to 25 lap marker. We're going 61 laps, Beaumont. There's going to be a second pit stop factored in. We're going to be pitting twice in this race.
You better get yourself a 3-liter bottle of Bapus.
And what happened to Morris Mayfield? He is currently sitting in 3rd place, but there is a gap. What happened to Jim Blossom and Morris Mayfield that caused such a spread out? Well, they got past, I see what it is. They're getting past Otto Bond, and they're enjoying some nice clean air. And I think Paul Walker might be a partner of the draft from Morris Mayfield. That Ford Pinto 00 car and that number 2 Box of Wine Chevy Prism may have to draft together to catch up to Jim Blossoms. If Jim Blossoms is going it alone, and you can see, look at these speeds right there. Look at these times as they're dropping. Mayfield is 3.8 off the lead. Blossoms 1.6 off the lead.
Yeah, but he's moving up though. He's gaining on him.
Those are the numbers we're gonna watch. Keep an eye, fans, on the left side of your screen where you see that 1.67 of Jim Blossoms, that 3.889 of Morris Mayfield. We're gonna put the camera right now on Jim Blossoms, and we're gonna put it on Jeff Shanice. See how he's handling that lap down traffic. He's still got Cudisar and Fat Darrell ahead of him, and we're gonna see. Look how close Jim Blossoms is. Let's see what the interval is now. Down another 0.2 of a second.
With Jim Blossoms is there is enough duct tape on that car. That car is running entirely on Babus Fuel duct tape, and they didn't even get the regular duct tape. They had to get like the pink camo one, the gold shiny ones, the ones with the duck pattern, the bacon.
And there's also some athletic tape in there too.
To it.
They got some VHS tape in there too. They were running through all the tape they could get in the tri-country area because we're in the city of Europe. I'm learning my geography.
Whiskey tape, Hennessy tape.
I said, got 8 cars.
If it stuck, it was on there.
8 different cars have retired from this race. You see the list at the bottom right now. You just scroll down there. No one else at this time. The last one was Blind Bob McGee.
And we still got to look at that bad accident back on lap 1 with Ennio Sparini won on Wednesday night.
We had a couple cars upside down.
That cursed track there.
And you guys got to hurry.
Too far speedway.
A European like Ennio Sparini is going to want to be coming over here and getting a hometown welcome in. He is from the city of Europe, of course, and to see him go upside down with Joe John Winchester. I wonder if that's a little bit American pride by Joe John Winchester. Maybe he might have wrecked Ennio Sparini on that one. We're gonna have to find out. Look at Jim Blossoms. Jim Blossoms under a second away off of Jeff Shanice, the leader.
He's moving up. He's moving up, and they're putting the KFC right next to the Chinese place.
And we're gonna want to watch to see if there's gonna be an Arby's right next to it, and maybe some box of wine outside by the dumpsters, because Morris Mayfield and Paul Walker have broken away from Wu Ba Bala, who seems to be sitting all by himself. He's got Mr. Naga's most glorious driver up in 6th place, but that's a big gap between 5th and 6th. Wu Ba Bala is going to have to see if he can get some help from those cars behind him to push him up to catch up to that box of wine car. Let's see how the intervals are looking right now. Jim Blossom 0.6 of a second off the lead. Morris Mayfield still 3.1. Paul Walker right behind him. Wu Ba Bala up to 3rd. And we're going to keep an eye on Jim Blossoms right now. What was you were reacting to something?
You said Wu Ba Bala moved up to 3rd?
5th place.
Oh, okay. All right.
Sorry, he is in 5th place right now. No, he's in 5th. But we are watching that interval. Right. We are watching that time decrease every time they cross. Jim Blossoms is now drafting off of Jeff Shanice. He is now getting the draft off of Jeff Shanice. We could see Jim Blossoms be the 4th leader of this race, 37 laps in.
He's getting a good old waff of some Chinese chicken wings and lo mein. That's what he's getting.
There is a lot of Shanice and a lot of Chinese food of Jeff's Chinese. That Jeff's Chinese, number 38 Chevy Prism with a Ford Pinto in its sats. And that's the thing, when you drive in the Jeff's Chinese car, you're just going to want to drive the KFC I Ate the Bones car in a half hour.
It's a battle of the lunch buffets right here. I mean,
this really is
lunchtime here in the Americas. In Europe, they're about ready for bed.
You know, this is a confirmed shoot right now. I did not realize until I drove a little further points south that KFC had a buffet. I didn't realize that is a thing in other parts of the country.
It's not everywhere. I mean, sometimes it's like the KFC.
I've seen it in North Carolina. I've seen it in Indiana.
Well, it's either they have the buffet, or they have the Taco Bell, or they have the Taco Bell Pizza Hut, or they have the Pizza Hut, or they have the KFC Taco Bell Pizza Hut Long John Silver's, or it's just in the mall and fuck them.
You know, I think those are some great alliances being built. Like we're seeing, look at Jim Blossom. He's taking a good hard look to make the pass.
I mean, I didn't like this guy before, but he gets my sympathy for taking that horrible wreck. Horrible and entertaining as hell.
And Jim Blossoms looks like he kind of fell off a little bit. He kind of fell off the lead, but he's going to keep looking to make that pass on Jeff Shanice.
He's going to have to adjust his resharts.
He sure is. That, of course, is Reshark, the official adult diaper of the Diddler Cup. Don't miss a minute of the action. Go ahead and poop yourself. And look at Jim Blossoms. He's going to have to poop himself. There's a colostomy bag that might get emptied, but right now he's looking to make the pass. He has made the pass. And your race leader is Jim Blossoms. Only a couple days after a horrendous wreck.
It's a 14-year-old kid controlling this car by remote control. Jim Blossoms isn't even is medically dead, and he is still driving this damn car. That is impressive.
You know, usually the vegetable.
I didn't like this guy before he died, but now I feel a little bad for him. So you know what? He gets my vote today.
You know, Beaumont. Usually the vegetables are a side item at KFC. But right now, Jim Blossoms is a vegetable, and he is a main event.
He is eggplanting his way to the front.
He is leading this lap, leading this race. He's got 5 points. He is the 4th car to lead this race. Jeff Shanice, Reverend Pastor Chavez, Jimmy Poots are the other 3. And we're seeing Paul Walker. Oh, what happened to Morris Mayfield? Did Morris Mayfield wreck? He is on pit road.
Looks like he's dropping off the lead. I don't know if he's just pitting.
We'll have to find out if he just pitted. If something happened to the 00 car on lap 41, I'm writing that one down to check later. We're going to see. He left Paul Walker out there without a drafting partner. Nope, it looks like Paul Walker is going to draft along with the race leaders. That is Jeff Shanice and Jim Blossoms. They are all going to pit. This is about the time. It's about a 20-lap pit window, I think. We're going to see what happens here.
It's time to see who wins and loses in the pits, and more importantly, who's going to get the 5 points.
And this is going to be very interesting because we got 19 laps to go. They should be fine if they fuel up, put on some fresh tires. We're going to get a new race leader, by the way, see who stays out in just a second. I don't know who's going to be watching on your screen. I want to keep an eye on Jim Blossoms and Jeff Shanice. Jeff Shanice. That is Richard Blood leaving pit row.
See, it's all dependent on them self-service stations is whether or not who asks for cash back, and does the cash register actually have it.
It was an odd choice to going to the ATM right here on pit road, but it looks like Jim Blossoms.
It's a big question: is who is buying the bag of peach rings?
Well, that's going to slow you down, absolutely. You got to go with at least the sour gummy worm.
Yeah, but they're delicious as hell. They're going to get you through the rest of the next 20 of these laps here.
That's true, and I think maybe the fact that Jim Blossoms has had his jaw wired shut has allowed him to continue to lead this race as far as we are concerned. Officially, he is still the leader. Jeff Shanice is right behind him, about a second away. The race off the pit was won by Jim Blossoms.
Still maintaining now. You got to give credit to this crew here. This has been impressive. I mean, from working 24-hour days starting on Wednesday to get this car up and running, to figuring out a way to get Jim Blossoms into the car without killing him.
That was the big problem.
Non-medically. I mean, medically he is killed. But, I mean, just hats off to the KFC I Ate the Bones crew. This has been impressive. And yet I've seen shittier KFC crews in my time.
No doubt about that. But I think what we are seeing
is how
right
can
now,
you work at Taco Bell and still cook fried chicken?
Oh, I gotta crack open one of these warm European beers for this good race, a very good race.
Hey! Oh yeah, that's right. Jean-Paul Henry got wrecked in that first lap there, so we gotta know this has been a pretty dry race outside of Paul Walker.
Oh God, that right there is that is warm.
That is beer.
That is room temperature. That is I am just stating facts about this beverage that I am partaking in. That is room temperature.
That'll burn your tongue. Hey, most importantly, look at we see here, it's Mr. Naga's Uber driver, and he's in third place now. He got himself a good lead off the pits.
Outstanding. You got to wonder if he actually had to pit. If he's going to pit, he started pretty far back, but he's going to be the biggest ally right now of Jeff Chanice, because you can see, look at
Maybe
2 through 5.
Pick up Mr. Naga's most glorious niece from dance practice.
Maybe perhaps that's the case. Jim Blossoms is only 2.4 seconds ahead of second place Jeff Chanice, and you can see there is a pack of 4 cars. Those 3 together, the number 10, that 00, and that 103, Awuba Abala, need to work together. Jeff Chanice is going to maybe have to drop back a little bit, take them with him, and use that draft power of those 4 cars to cut that lead on Jim Blossoms. You see, it looks like Morris Mayfield.
I don't think Will Bob Hall is going to get along with a nihilist and a Chinaman to get himself into third place.
I think we can at least graduate up to Oriental on that one.
Okay, well, all right.
Maybe by the end of the race we could say Asian American. Or I guess he's just Asian since he isn't from America.
I guess that's true. I mean, he's certainly not from around these parts either.
No, he is not. And what we're seeing right now is Jim Blossoms contending with Fat Daryl, and he is contending with
And speaking of parts not from around here.
And there you see, there's your number 40 car. There's your Luxury Beer Bombs car. He is the last car on the lead lap.
I mean, he has been tanked, and you got to think with all these parts from not from around here, that does remind me of Parts Unknown's Unknown Auto Parts, the official race sponsor and $15 gift card giver to Reverend Pastor Chavez, who won the pole, but unfortunately it looks like
sitting in 9th.
Well, he's doing it about 9th right now.
Hey, he's in the bottom. He's in the bottom 10 of the point standing. So a top 10 finish would probably be an absolute dream for Reverend Pastor Chavez. Sure, wanted to hold that together. Wanted to use his European open wheel experience to actually get himself some. Look at that! Jeff Chanice is right on the bumper of the KFC car because of all that lap down traffic. And look at this, the number 10, the 00, and that 103 car under 2 seconds off the lead. This is the story 48 laps in of the 61-lap race.
Again, it's that smokeless smoke screen from Jasper Kudisark.
And it is, that throat candy tobacco lozenges.
Everyone behind him.
Throat candy tobacco lozenges, number 25 Chevy Prism is just creating so many problems. And Kudisark sitting in 17th place in the points. Got no lead to protect. He's just kind of being a dick right now. And he's got Jeff Chanice right behind him getting a draft. And look at this. Look at these intervals when they drop down. There you see. Look at those drop. Wuba Bala is now 1.5 seconds off the lead. When a couple laps ago that was 3 seconds.
That's impressive.
And see, there is Jeff Chanice.
Lap traffic does not have to get out of the way of him.
They do not.
So that way they can, as you said, Kudisark's been the biggest factor this race this far.
I think Diddler Cup
rules. He's just been a dick to everyone.
If you look at the Diddler Cup rule book, it actually says, hell, you can tell him to go fuck himself if you want. That is a direct quote. That's why I'm allowed to swear on this broadcast, because I'm reading from the rule book. Oh, good enough. Oh, goodness. Oh, it looks like did Most Glorious and Honorable Mr. Naga's driver almost kissed the wall. I think he might have just kissed the wall right there. He just fell back in a big way. Well, Joey Rochester.
With stern disapproval.
Joey Rochester.
With stern disapproval there.
Joey Rochester may have just found himself jumping up from 8th to about 3rd, but I think that just meant that Jim Blossoms has extended his lead yet again with 12 laps to go. This is lap 50, 5-0 of this 61-lap race. The Africa Batoto 99, because there's nothing that 100 laps or more could ever do. And look at those intervals. Jim Blossoms with Morris Mayfield breathing down his neck, followed by Jeff Chanice, Wu Babale, and Paul Walker. Looks like Reverend Pastor Chavez fell off a little bit there. And who was the other one that was with? It was Most Glorious and Honorable Mr. Naga's driver.
He's
dropped down to 11th.
Right
he had to
now.
fall down to that pack behind.
He got nudged against the wall there, and that's what really slowed him down there.
I think he was racing with Reverend Pastor Chavez there. No doubt. Let's see what Morris Mayfield can do. He is going. He's got Jeff Shanice. He's got those 2 orange cars behind him to give him drafting help. He's got Stumpy Lane and Jasper Kosar ahead of him. We did, in fact, start on time at going on the East Coast time, 1 p.m. I think we're somewhere at 7 p.m. we started over here. I don't understand how time travel works when we go over to the city of Europe, but we are here, and Morris Mayfield is looking to make that pass on Jasper Kudisark, but it is giving Jim Blossoms even more chance to just extend that lead. He has got past Stumpy Lane. He's got Jean-Paul Henry to contend with to put him a lap down. That number 40 car, that Ludger Beer Bomb Chevy Prism, will be a lap down if he gets past. He is the last car on the lead lap.
Well, he's just like I said, he's just bringing up the rear. He's just living in the wine cellar, and he's just chilling right now. That's not much I can say about this hot beer that they're selling here at this weird city of Europe. It's like it burns to the touch. They use it for industrial purposes too.
I understand. Ain't gonna stop me though.
Second place.
Woo-Bah Violet has just what happened there? Why did Morris Mayfield drop back? I think we got Ryan cars that are just kind of sharing this draft. Look at all that draft. Look at all that draft going down there. Woo-Bah Violet in second place. That might be the race to watch. Jim Blossoms is going away with this one with 8 laps to go.
Yeah, he's down about 5.6 seconds, but it's the smokeless smoke screen of Jasper Kudisark has, like I said, been causing problems all day.
Kudisark has a problem. Woo-Bah Violet in that 103 Pontiac Bonneville has had a good car for much of this race. I think he might be even thinking about he's going to certainly move up in the points with this one, because we're looking at who's in first and second and third. Looking at Richard Blood, who's not anywhere near the lead. He's in 17th place, so that's going to be points gained on him. We see Jean-Paul Henry, he's down on 18th, another one. So Woo-Bah Violet, as long as he can just keep that car together and keep it on the racetrack for the next seven laps.
Trying to make a move on him.
Well, he might be just a drafting partner. They're trying to get past Cotton Stuff Body, who is also contending for second place. Cotton Stuff Body is just moving into third in front of Jeff Shanice and behind Woo-Bah Violet.
Sometimes it's not the race for first. It's the race for last to first. Yeah, I'm going to say Jim Blossoms probably has this in the bag at this point. 6 laps in.
So, he has got it in the colostomy bag. You're absolutely right.
Story here.
You are right. He has got it in the colostomy bag. Opened up an 8-second lead with only a few laps to go. 6 laps to go. All we got to wonder now is, how does Field treat him? Has he been drafted enough? Are these cars behind him saving fuel by drafting? Let's keep an eye on Jim Blossoms, but let's also head back and keep an eye on Woo-Bah Violet and what is now a race for second. We don't want to downplay the story of Jim Blossoms winning this race after the most debilitating injury. My God, you could not script this. You could not write a story better than a man soaring through the air upside down, landing, flipping about 775 times,
Which is hilarious.
Breaking every bone in his body, severely lacerating his pancreas, kidneys, gallbladder, and a couple of organs he may or may not have had. I think he even broke his uterus in there. He didn't even have one, but he somehow broke one.
It just got in there, and then it broke it, and then it just came right back out.
That is how hard that was. Everybody is pitting, I'm understanding. Let's see what's going on right now. Nope, we're keeping an eye on it. Keep an eye on Jim Blossoms.
The only way Woo-Bah Violet's going to win this race is if an unfortunate European accident happens right in front of him. I don't think that's going to be happening anytime soon.
Keep an eye on Woo-Bah Violet, see what is happening there. He is he seems to be all alone.
I mean, yeah, I'm a big fan for him. I'm biased towards him, but at the same time, you got to be realistic.
And it looks like a lot of those cars may have pitted that were helping them out. They have now spread out with 4 laps to go. There you see Morris Mayfield. That was the problem, getting past Jasper Kudisar kind of killed the draft for everybody. Morris Mayfield in 5th place. And we're seeing Wubai Bali all alone in 2nd place. It's no longer a race for second. I think Wubai Bali may have clinched it as long as Paul Walker can get fended off. Paul Walker is the biggest threat right now to Wubai Bali in this race. And maybe Stumpy Lane, who was 2 laps down. But we are watching Jim Blossoms with 3 laps to go. 7.8 second lead. 3 laps to go here in the Africa by Toto 99.
Harry Bosch is waiting there for you.
I think we got a report that everyone was pitting because we saw all the time differences jump for a second. I think what happened is when a bunch of cars got past Jasper Kudisar was lap down, the field just opened up, and so all those times just really started to spread.
All right now with Jim Blossoms, it's going to take a lot to get them away from him.
2 to go. Jim Blossoms, 8-second lead on 2nd place Wubai Bali, who we have to imagine Wubai Bali might be your points leader after this race. I can't believe I'm saying that. But we're going to have to find out. Paul Walker going to make a case for that. I think Morris Mayfield is going to jump back into the top 5 perhaps. Reverend Pastor Chavez, 6th place. He was our pole sitter.
Contractually obliged.
And here we go. White flag is waved for Jim Blossoms. He is staying on the track. He is keeping it together. He is held together by duct tape, adhesives, Band-Aids, and the will of his entire crew. Jim Blossoms.
Tracker too.
You could not script a story better than this. Going 206 miles an hour. Fear be damned. He was on his ass. He was on his head. He was on every single organ back at Tulsa at Too Far Speedway. But Africa by Toto 99. There's nothing that 100 laps or more could ever do to keep Jim Blossoms on the final stretch of this race. He is going to get the checkered flag, crossing the start-finish line. Jim Blossoms has made the comeback story of this season. He has won this race.
With a tear in his eye. Or maybe that's some medical stuff. I don't know. But anyway, Jim Blossoms on an amazing comeback.
Paul Walker, 3rd place. Wubai Bali in 2nd. We're watching Joey Rochester.
2nd place. Not quite 1st, but sucker dicks.
Reverend Pastor Chavez finishing in 6th. Joey Rochester, 4th place. Morris Mayfield in 5th. That'll be good points for Morris Mayfield. Jimmy Poots in 7th. Harry Gunt, great finish for Harry Gunt in 8th. Jeff Shanice ends up finishing in 9th. Kevin Boner Pillman, top 10 finish for Kevin Boner Pillman. That 15 team, that Penn 15 team, that Dongerex Injectapen car, they're going to be ecstatic because they have needed a finish like that. But the story here is Jim Blossoms heading to the pits.
Hey,
what a story!
I just got word from Jim Blossom's crew. I mean, they're even though everyone else might be angry, they're just saying, "Hey, jealousy."
They are most certainly saying that. What a story here. We'd love to go down for an interview with Jim Blossoms, but I think his mouth is just so stuffed with gauze. Just so packed full, just so much gauze that the fact that he is on a breathing tube because he is so packed full of gauze that the man cannot say a single word. That being said...
No, the closest thing he could do is type Morse code, but, I don't know if he knows it. I'm sure it'd just be weird.
I think any sort of we're getting word that any sort of statement that he has had is basically just a cry for help.
I think if he speaks, he's going to medically die.
It's very possible. I understand that he has learned how to tap out the phrase "kill me" in Morse code, or maybe he's blinking it. I'm not quite sure myself, but let's go ahead and make it official. Your winner of this race is Jim Blossoms. There you have it. we're going to go ahead and enter the race results of this one. What a race. Jim Blossoms, your winner. Woo Ba Bala, second place. Paul Walker in third. Joey Rochester jumping up to fourth place. Morris Mayfield in that Nihilist Arby's car, a good fifth place finish, top 5 for him. Reverend Pastor Chavez led a lap. He's in sixth place. Jimmy Poots also led a lap. He's in seventh. Harry Gunt in eighth. Jeff Shanice, the other lap leader, in ninth place. And Kevin Boner Pillman in 10th. What a race. What a race, Beaumont.
Absolutely incredible. This is the kind of stuff you cannot write for television, and this is the kind of stuff you cannot put on television.
You were right with that. We are just doing some calculations. We are running the math right now to make sure that we got our updated standings that tell you how the field is right now as far as the points. This is now we're now 5 races into this season. And
see, now my question is, with all the success that Jim Blossoms has, he could be the $6 man. He could be the new $6 man. They just may keep him on life support for the entire season, and he could just end up winning the whole. He could run the table.
He may absolutely be a sentimental favorite. I think is very possible in this one. But right now, we're going to go ahead and announce. I think we're going to go ahead and read off the. We've got the top 10 in points as they have been updated right now. In 10th place, Jeff Shanice, moving up from 15th place. He is in 10th place. Bowie Jessup in that 22 car. He dropped from 3rd. He is in 9th place. Cotton Stuff Body dropping down as well from 6th to 8th. Jimmy Poots is in 7th place. He moved up there from 13th. Morris Mayfield back in the top 10. 6th place after being in 11th. John Paul Henry has dropped from 2nd to 5th. Paul Walker moving up from 8th to 4th. Richard Blood dropping from 1st to 3rd. Jim Blossoms has moved up in the points to 2nd place from, where was he in before? Jim Blossoms was in, I'm looking through my notes right here. He was pretty far down there. Jim Blossoms moved up to 2nd place from 7th. And moving up from 4th place to 1st place in the points after 5 races. Woo Ba Bali.
Yeah, don't you tell the bitch Lucifer! Oh shit! Oh, whoa! Yeah!
Now I need to see.
Yeah, you win. That's right. You win a race. You be like, woo ba ba, your points leader. Suck it, everyone. Woo! Yeah.
Well, there you have it right there. I am looking for a Why do I not have a? I've got a. Wait a second here.
Told you again. Last to first. All right. Look, we're gonna.
There we go. We're gonna go ahead and update the. We're gonna go ahead and update this right now. We're gonna go ahead and put this up and tell you we're gonna get the highlights ready for you in just a second. Wanted to update the scroll at the bottom. And we're going to show you.
I gotta say, we gotta see Ennio Sparini having problems with the car.
No doubt we do. Let's see how far we can do this. We go all the way to see that wreck. Who are we watching? Ennio Sparini had a lot of problems with the car.
Also, Big Daddy Thibodeau on lap 13 and Bowie Jessup on lap 23, as you requested. I got them right down here.
Oh, excellent. I got Big Daddy Thibodeau on 12. I got Bowie Jessup on 23. I got Blind Bob McGee on 26, and I got the 00 on 41 to see what happened to him. I think he ended up being just pitting because he came back out just fine. I'm going to cross that one off.
Yeah,
so we're going to go ahead. So
how about that? Well, now you're new points leader.
So we're going to go ahead and see what happens.
Hey, still early in the season, though. So savor this moment until the next race.
No doubt there. And let's see what happened. They got really wide right on the start. What happened? Let's watch Ennio Sparini and see what happened here. Just in the eye of the hurricane. We know that Just Guns car that was right behind him got involved in that too. Where did it all start to go wrong for Ennio Sparini?
Where it began, I can't even begin to know it.
Oh, he's getting into BD Joseph right there. He's gonna trade a little paint. Oh, I see what's gonna happen here. I think he's gonna go sliding up the wall. I think he's gonna be having getting loose. He made the pass. Oh, right there. Oh, good God. Oh, good God. Oh, good God. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh, God.
Oh, someone was up on the wall there.
I was BD Joseph. He's driving up sideways like goddamn Rocket League.
Maybe we should be watching that 4-7 car because he was in the back of that whole pack and see what happened there. What happened to Joe John Winchester? That might be the best view we have right here. Oh, he tried to make the pass. He got into that Autobahn car.
The 69 car, nice. He got involved and he came out without a scratch. Look at
He was
this.
trying to make the pass on that 69 car. Somehow, Autobahn had 0 damage on that. Let's go on board with BD Joseph on this. Let's see what happened here. I don't think BD Joseph had anything to do with this wreck. I think that was all caused by Joe John Winchester. BD Joseph taking a high line. Oh, good God. Ennio Sparini gets upended. I think we need to go on board right there with these cars. Should we go on board here, see what happened?
Absolutely.
This is you are riding along. You are riding along with BD Joseph. There's the wreck. There he is, riding along sideways. We are going to go on board right now with Joe John Winchester. Oh, he's already on his side right now. Let's see what happens here. You're on board with Joe John Winchester. That Just Guns number 47 car. Good Lord. That is beautiful wreckage.
That is a European work of art right there.
That it is. And I think we need to go on board with Ennio Sparini in this case as well to just see what happened. Just a hard lick there. Looks like Rusty Arcana even got in on it too. Let's go on with Ennio Sparini in that cockpit. Had no idea this was happening. Oh, it's like Rusty Arcana. That's what happened there. Rusty Arcana was in it too. Ennio Sparini just taking the ride on the roof. Keep an eye. Let's take a look at that. And one last time, let's take a look at Rusty Arcana to see what happened there. If he actually got involved in it. I know he was kind of riding the rails there. There you go. He was sideways. He was literally on his side. I think it was all started by Joe John Winchester, and everybody else just got involved in that one.
Actually, let's see. Let's back up for a second. I think did Joe John Winchester get bumped there?
See, I think what happened.
We'll
take a look from this angle once more, because I think what happened here is we're gonna break this one down. This is the analysis we can give you. Now you see Joe John Winchester right here. I'm gonna pause it right here. You're gonna see it in a second. Joe John Winchester does not have clearance to pass on Autobahn in that 69 car.
Nice.
And what he's trying to do,
not nice, but
he is trying to slide in between Autobahn and Ennio Sparini, and we're going to see he does not have clearance. He is going to try to get in there, and right there is where he gets in. Ennio Sparini slowed down. Joe John Winchester slid up the track and started the whole mess. Got into Ennio Sparini, upended him. That caused Rusty Arcana beating Joseph. That was that was Fat Daryl who was in on that too. Seemed to be okay. But that was the wreck right there. We're gonna go ahead and go a little further into the race. Let's see if we can find who was the next one. We had Big Daddy Thibodeau. See what happened to him around lap 12.
Lap 12 or 13.
Or maybe even earlier than that. I'm gonna try to figure this out myself.
So how do you keep people interested in the Diddler Cup? Well, you give them a wreck on lap 1. That's what you do.
That is absolutely. I don't think we need to give anybody any sort of entertainment value.
Now, were they
give them
talking about
solid
the
entertainment.
European? Here's my question: were they playing by the European rules as to why they did not issue the yellow flag there?
Because we are doing no yellow flags. There were no yellow flags in this racetrack. So that is absolutely European rules, I think. What happened right here to Big Daddy Thibodeau? This is like lap 10 or 11. We're going to see he's going to be in the pits, but we want to find out why. If he just popped in the pit, if something was wrong with the car, if he was involved in some sort of an accident. He's a little loose on that. Oh, you know what? Right there. Yeah, there he goes. Oh, he's in it with Jean-Paul Henry. He is. Oh, he got flipped too. We didn't even see this. Good God, Big Daddy Thibodeau. Oh, we got to go on board with that one. He sticks the landing, but Big Daddy Thibodeau. We're going to go on board with Big Daddy Thibodeau.
You know, it's impressive as to what you don't see on the racetrack. It's exhausting. Good God! Look at them rolls.
May make you a little nauseous if you're watching it at home. That is a lot of spinning. But Big Daddy Thibodeau just spun that car about 19,000 times. I guess to advertise the new brand of Tucson Twist. Keep an eye on Jean-Paul Henry from this one. See how he did it. Jean-Paul Henry actually able to keep it on four wheels.
Jean-Paul Henry still has the cat in his car from the Wednesday night race.
And you can see no.
See, what happened with Jean-Paul Henry is if you saw the highlights, I mean, saw the race in further respect there, he did all them barrel rolls, landed right on his wheels and drove off. That's because someone did not put a bat in his car last race.
Well, there's
someone
your
put
answer.
a cat in the car. Someone screwed up, and that's why that kitty is still racing. Meow, meow, meow.
We're going to find out what happened. We had Bowie Jessup having to pit around lap number 23. We saw he was kind of slowing down. He was off the lead lap. He was kind of in the dirt. Actually, this happened a little earlier. We're going back to lap 21 right now. Oh, yeah, he definitely got into a wreck with Blind Bob McGee. That's what happened right here. We're going to go take you into that one. Watch right here. Bowie Jessup and Blind Bob McGee are going to get into it. Boom! Right there. Into the wall. Flipping it. Jessup in a cloud of dust. Blind Bob McGee somehow able to drive it away. Not as horrible of a wreck. But those two cars. I wonder if the same thing happened to Ricky Walton at that point. I think Ricky Walton was already off the track. Nothing really happened there. No accident. Just already off the track in the pits. We can go ahead and rewind that a little bit. Oh, he seemed to be on. What the hell happened there? How in the hell did Ricky Walton end up there? Oh, there it is. Gets into Harry Gunn. Oh, good God! Oh, he's flying. He higher than a.
Oh man!
He higher than a kid at Bonnaroo, at Glastonbury. Since we're here.
God! How did he get him down from there? How did he get him down?
Well, I think it's that magic of Temecula dirt. We're gonna go on board with Ricky Walton.
Saying this track is not safe, but holy shit, is it entertaining. We missed a lot here.
He is lodged right there on the side of the racetrack. Good Lord. Well, there you have it. Those are the wrecks. That is the Wreckstravaganza aspect of this. It is rectacular. But your winner in this race is Jim Blossoms. Let it not be denied that that is the story we are telling today. That is a beautiful, beautiful thing.
Just not his face.
No, his face is absolutely hideous right now. But nonetheless, Go ahead.
I mean, it's you got to feel for him and his family, even though he can't really feel anything. But at the same time, I mean, just the independence of Canada and the independence of America, and running this race in Europe for the Toto the Africa by Toto 99. I mean, really, could not have happened to a better guy. Now that he's considered medically dead.
No doubt about that. I think that is the important thing, that, you know, it is just showing how important it is for all of these racers. All of these cars, all these drivers can just race their hearts out, and that is amazing. Well, that's going to be it for us. Thank you to Beaumont Jenkins for joining me here as the color commentator. We're going to be joining
Pleasure to have you, and hope Lightning Lord. Also want to say, I hope Lightning Lord Shivers gets himself a good attorney.
We're going to hopefully have him back. We're going to talk about our next race is, of course, the Cinefist. The Cinefist 300. We're heading over to Bristol, Tennessee, to Bristol Motor Speedway. That's Bristol, like a G. Bristol Motor Speedway in Bristol, Tennessee for the Cinefist 300. We're going short track racing. There's going to be wrecks. There's going to be excitement. We hope you join us. That is most likely going to be Wednesday night at around 8:30 usual time for our Wednesday night broadcast. Thank you to Beaumont Jenkins. Anything more you got to tell us?
No, that's all I got there. Bob Woobab is in first place, and the points are sucking, everyone. Jim Blossom's the big winner, and holy shit, this race is dangerous, and I love it. Woo!
Thank goodness nobody else died, but if anybody died today, they're probably going to win next week based on how Jim Blossoms did. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for watching the Diddler Cup. My name is Chip Chapman for Beaumont Jenkins. We're thinking about you. Free Lord Shivers. Good afternoon. Well, it's evening here because we got to go time traveling again. Good night from the city of Europe. This has been the Diddler Cup Racing. It's been a goddamn auto race.
It certainly has been a goddamn auto race.